Sound of Money with Santosh Sirur.
Hello and welcome to another super special episode of The Sound of Money. Well, we are almost there into its 100th episode. We are moving in, and well, the 100th series start, and amazing guests lined up for these. And one of the guests that I have on my show is my very, very good friend. In fact, I got to know him and meet him very, very recently. It's Amit Trivedi. He's a prominent Indian author, financial trainer, and also a speaker who specializes in personal finance and investment management. He considers himself as a lifetime student of investment management and personal finance, and a passion actually that drives his writing and his training. He's conducted over 1,700 plus workshops and training programs across, including professionals from regulatory bodies, banks, and even the general public. He is actually also writing articles for the mainstream media and has contributed to certification, in terms of National Institute of Securities Markets as an NISM. And in terms of his education, he is actually a PE in instrumentation and control and an MBA in marketing. He is the owner of Karmyog Knowledge Academy, which is what we're going to talk about. And he serves as an adjunct faculty at the NISM and huge impact, covering more than 1,700 plus workshops. Not easy. Training more than 400,000 participants. I just wonder how he manages that. Keeps himself fit, including financial advisors and individual investors. Please welcome our guest, Amit Trivedi. Hi, Amit, and so good to have you on The Sound of Money.
Pleasure is all mine, Santosh. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, Amit, there's so much to talk about. But the first big thing I want to talk to you about is your big leap, right? Because end of the day, you spent years in corporate world and including senior roles, right? Including Franklin Templeton. But there is always that moment in life where that, as they say, internal click, right? That made you decide to leave a stable career. And I'm talking of years back when, as early as 2008, it's not an easy life, right? At that time in those days, especially the year 2008. But you took that call and you started Karmyog Knowledge Academy in 2008.
Yeah.
If you go back, how was that experience and what really made you think about that decision?
So first, I'm going to take a diversion and answer the last part of your question that how difficult it was in 2008. Incidentally, the entire market crash happened only after I quit the job. So I had no idea of the gravity of the situation. And at the same time, I don't take the responsibility for the crash also. But the whole seed of being on my own, it was not a moment that something happened, but it developed over a period of time. Incidentally, when I took up the job, during the first month of my job, way back in 93, I was talking to a colleague and I said, in less than 5 years, I would be on my own. So somehow, right at the time of joining, the corporate world, I had some kida in me that, let us do something different. Well, then you continue to work and sort of got pulled into so many things and never had time to think and plan. And then something hit me very hard. In 98, the firm that I was working on was taken over by another firm, a large firm. And I was almost about to lose my job because I saw a lot of colleagues losing their jobs, including seniors. And I thought I would be the next one. Mera number kab aayega types. And fortunately, I was absorbed in the new entity. And then four years later, another incident where the company that I was working in was taken over by another firm. And there again, I was quite close to being sacked. So I said, the security that we seek in a job, where is that security? And if there is no security, why do I worry about that fixed paycheck? Can I not pursue my dreams and simply walk out and do what I want to do? But then, then the sort of a conservative guy in me woke up and said, you fool, you know what you are trying to do. I mean, it's not an easy thing to be on your own and leave the comfort of the monthly paycheck in particular, barring everything else. Though the company's brand also is a huge enabler, and many of us don't even realize while we are in the job that it is the company's reputation, company's brand, the support, the whole infrastructure that allows us to function the way we function in Excel. But when you're on your own, you are actually on your own. So that conservative guy in me told me, hang on, you don't know what you are getting into. So I said, okay, let me just plan it out what to do. Sometime in 2005, I think it was June 2005, I went to my boss and told him that, boss, I want to quit the job. And he was outside of my family and a couple of friends. He was the first guy to whom I'd gone and, talked about this. He said, when? I said, that I don't know, but I want to quit. He was like surprised. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. You go and talk to my boss. So I went and talked to his boss. And of course, then a couple of other seniors, I had a very meaningful conversation and they guided me properly, plus a couple of other friends. And I did my financial plan with the help of a financial planner. That if I have to quit, how am I placed? Am I prepared
in terms of the corpus? Yeah.
In terms of, no, not just corpus. You have to look at the corpus cash flows. And the corpus may not be able to generate cash flow for a very long period. I mean, see, when 2005 means I was just 12 years in job. So it's not that long a period. And then finally, I decided to quit. But it was really those two moments where I came face to face with a potential job loss that really reinforced my decision that, okay, I need to be on my own.
Okay. But, I also look at, when you're discussing this, end of the day, it's a call one has to take. That call itself is very, very, very important. And then you went on to your journey, and one of the key things and your, I would say probably the most important point in your career journey is your power of storytelling. Like typically when finance experts talk, right, they talk about charts and spreadsheets and decks and all that. But you chose Bollywood movies. You're able to resonate, you're able to connect with real life anecdotes and teach people about how did that come up? As a trainer, it's very important to connect with your audience.
Exactly. So I would not like to take any credit for that myself. I grew up in a family of storytellers. And almost anybody and everybody in my family right now has been into teaching profession. So even my grandmother was a teacher, my father was a teacher, my mother was a teacher. And I grew up in a family where Mahabharata and Ramayana were part of our daily life. So every now and then they would pick up some incident and talk about it, or Puranic stories. And then we grew up with that. So anywhere and everywhere there was an anecdote, there was an analogy, there was some story to connect. And like most Indian families of those days, we did not discuss numbers as much as we do today. So that really helped me get into it. Secondly, I was and I continue to be a voracious reader. When I was a school kid, maybe 4th or 5th standard, I still remember, I don't even know what my father's salary could be. And my mother was not a full-time employee anywhere. So it was only one salary. And in those days, my father used to buy books worth 1,000 rupees every year.
Wow. It's an investment, right? In that sense.
It was a huge investment. So, and then I grew up reading, and then the habit formed in such a manner that I used to read my elder sister's textbooks before she opened, especially the language textbooks. And she was 4 years ahead of me in school. So I used to read those books, and that really got accumulated a lot. Papa would also bring some of the best short stories and novels which were translated in Gujarati, that being my mother tongue, and I didn't know English much in those days. So read a lot, and a lot of gratitude towards my family as well as all those authors who created that body of literature.
Absolutely.
And then when I entered financial services, that was not by choice, that was an accident. Incidentally, you read out my introduction, and education says BE instrumentation was my graduation, and
Yeah.
MBA was marketing and not finance. So
Uh-huh.
let me narrate that personal story of mine. Like and because you mentioned movies, I can't resist that temptation. Like in the movie Three Idiots,
Yeah.
you know, to be born child of that Kareena Kapoor's elder sister.
Yeah.
So they said he would be an engineer. So they had already decided she would be a doctor and he would be an engineer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for us, there were actually only limited number of choices. And if you take a science stream, then everybody wanted either to be a doctor or an engineer. And
Yeah.
incidentally, I looked down upon those who could not take science in those days. Okay.
Mindset. Yeah.
Mindset. And that means finance was a no. It was like not a good job. So I became an engineer. And by the time I was in seventh semester, which is last year of engineering, I realized that the instrumentation and control, there were hardly any good firms in India which were into manufacturing and R&D of instrumentation. They were only assembling whatever kits they were getting from foreign. Or you would be in the maintenance department in a large plant or a factory. And that maintenance job means you can't rise up the ladder too much. So I realized that. So I inquired with a few people and they said, you go and pursue MBA. If you're an MBA with engineering, you can be CEO in a firm.
Can't get better. Yeah. Ultimately.
And I had no idea what a CEO's job would be. The only thing that I knew was CEO is the highest paid employee in the company. So I said, wow, this helps. So so tried for that, and I was fortunate enough to get admission into an MBA college. The college offered only two options, finance or marketing. And I hated finance, so I chose marketing. I did not choose marketing because I like marketing. I hated finance, that's why I chose marketing. I wanted to stay as much far away from finance as possible. Yeah. And I also, and then that's how I got into MBA marketing. And then, while it was called MBA marketing, all the jobs available were sales jobs, not marketing jobs. So I said, I can't sell anything to anybody. I don't have the capability. I took up a job, worked for a small computer dealership for 6 months, fought with the boss because at the end of 6 months, I had registered a grand zero sales and decided to quit the job. And in those days, thanks to whatever had happened, Indian economy was opening up. And the popular joke in those days was trespassers would be recruited in a finance company. So that's how I got
demand for people. Yeah.
That was the kind of demand. So they were just simply looking at somebody with a CV and maybe can talk a little bit. So I got into this industry. Now, with that story, rather with that background, now it was a very scary situation because I did not know how to spell finance properly, and I was working in a financial services company.
Which you hated anyways right from the beginning, from an academic standpoint.
Yeah, which I hated. And it was like you don't know swimming and you are thrown into the water with many sharks and crocodiles around. Now, what do you do in that case? You simply have to stay afloat and alive.
Yeah.
And I think I've survived for 32 years, so I know a little bit of swimming by now. But when you've not gone through that route, you have to make the complex subjects simple. Because without that, I myself could not have understood anything about finance. Because there were no good teachers who could academically would have taken those classes and I would have gone through the rigor and understood. In the absence, I read, I observed, I talked to people, and that's how I could put pieces together and interpret it in my own way. And that had to be simple, connecting to things, storytelling. So my childhood, grooming of reading stories with the need to understand a complex subject, that combined together. And that's how so now when I started doing training programs, as you rightly mentioned, the need is to connect, not to communicate alone. And when you
Yeah.
do connect, you have to find common ground and common interest. And in India, as most people say, it is cricket and Bollywood. So I
Correct.
started
And that you're
using
able to resonate well. Yeah.
absolutely, and that's these are the things that I started using in my training programs. And then over a period of time, could gather a lot of stuff together to be able to write a book on that subject.
Yeah. In fact, your book, Price of Ignorance,
Yeah.
incredibly raw, right? It's basically a financial lesson you actually realize literally lying on a hospital bed is what you mentioned in the book, and that you never saw coming on a day like that coming in 30 years in the market. So can you tell a little more about it? Because there are those exigencies in life, which is all about managing finances and keeping that money ready for that rainy day. But then you actually end up in a hospital bed, and that too in an ICU must have been a totally different experience.
So, Santosh, I think that I am truly blessed because lying on an ICU bed, it's difficult to envisage that somebody would think of ideas that can eventually result into a book. And that cannot happen without the Almighty's blessing. So I truly consider that as a blessing that those thoughts and those ideas came. But once again, the whole habit that we just talked about of connecting seemingly unrelated aspects together. And in a way, if you think most of things in life, you can draw a lesson from one and apply elsewhere. However, you have to be careful that you are applying the right lesson. So that's the only caution. But there are many lessons available. What happened at that point in time was I said, okay, I keep talking to people who seem to be making financial mistakes, and I think I am good at controlling my mind. But then, if I'm good at controlling my mind in money management, why am I not good at controlling my mind in health management? So eventually, if the problem is here, then there has to be a parallel. There have to be common elements. And if a seemingly healthy person can within no time land up in an ICU, and the doctor actually said to my wife, of course, I was not even in any
already
senses, but
in a state of
So doctor told my wife that let's observe for 6-7 hours. Before that, we can't tell you anything. Because it was that kind of a scary situation. It would have been impossible to do this podcast in a way. And incidentally, it is just around 10 years back. It happened in February 2016, and we are in Feb 2026 right now. So then I started writing down while in the hospital. And then eventually it culminated into a book. I think it's just an attempt to open up eyes for people. Eyes of people that there are a lot of things that we don't know, and we don't even know that we don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Rajiv Thakkar of PPFS Mutual Fund, he actually wrote a testimonial in the book, and he said while Amit has tried to connect financial aspects, this book actually applies to almost anything and everything in life. So I think that those are very, very big words, and really grateful.
Absolutely. In fact, in your when it comes to money or happiness, right? You often talk about living in that moment. How does one actually balance that aggressive saving needed for, quote unquote, that financial independence with the need to actually even save a life today? It's a dichotomy of sorts, right, Amit?
You're right. And a lot of times I've heard this argument from many people that all the financial advisors keep asking us to save for that retirement. And in the process, I can't even enjoy life today. So again, I'll quote two beautiful movies from Indian cinema. One movie, very famous and very popular. The other was not so popular. The one that very famous movie was Zindagi Na Milegi Dobar. So if you remember in that movie, Hrithik Roshan was workaholic.
The trader,
He said,
the busy trader.
the busy trader. I will work and slog and make truckloads of money so that I can retire and live comfortably. I retire at 40 and live comfortably thereafter.
Yeah.
So one day, he was sharing this with Katrina Kaif, and she asked a very simple question: do you think you'll be alive till 40?
Yeah.
So
So
you can't
pertinent.
sacrifice your life today. Pertinent question. I mean, you're assuming that you'll be alive to enjoy. So enjoy now and enjoy then. And then there is another movie called Tara Rampam, not so famous, featuring Saif Ali Khan and I think Rani Mukherjee, where Saif was a race car driver, making loads of money and living a very king-size life. And one day he meets with an accident. With that fatal accident, there are no races. No races meant no income, and no income meant the EMIs which were due. The bank took away the house, bank took away the cars, and they had to scale down their lifestyle. Of course, it was a movie, and Saif was a hero, though. So he resurfaced, and like a phoenix, he rose from the ashes.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen with everybody.
In real life.
No, my point of connecting these two movies is in Tara Rumpam, he said, live the life to the fullest today. You don't know whether there's tomorrow. And Zindagi na milegi dobara. Ritik says, I will live tomorrow. I want to sacrifice today. No, it doesn't work that way. The life has to be lived between the two.
Yeah.
And it's never a question of saving versus investing. Or rather, sorry, it's not never saving versus spending. It is because what are you saving for? You are saving for financial goals of tomorrow, and all the financial goals are expenses for tomorrow. So essentially, the balance is between spending tomorrow versus spending today, not about saving versus spending. And if you look at it that way, then eventually money becomes not the end in itself. It is a means to an end, and that end is living a fulfilling life.
Correct. Yeah.
And I've not come across anybody who doesn't want to live a fulfilling life today, so that one can live better tomorrow. Or nobody would want a miserly life tomorrow by living lavishly today. If we understand these consequences, then I think automatically we are wired in a manner that our actions would start becoming appropriate.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Fully agree. In fact, you have been a teacher, and that's the teacher in you also that comes out so widely in this conversation. Amit, you've trained over 400,000 people. What is that most common aha moment, if I may say so, that you saw in your students?
Okay, so let me just again digress a bit and then come to the classroom aha moment. But let me just take the impact that one could create. So I was associated with CB's program of training for financial education resource persons. And in the initial 9 batches, I was the course coordinator, and we covered roughly 1,000 teachers from across the country. They were trained and they were taken through a rigorous 5 to 7 day residential program. Now, some of them are still in touch. Some of them have become really good friends. One of the days, one guy called up, and he lives somewhere near Bhopal in a small town. He called up, "Bhaiya, aapse kuch batana hai." I said, "Yeah, please tell me." He said, so he had received a call from some of his students 2 days back, and he wanted to share that with me. He said, you had highlighted the downside of Ponzi schemes in the class, and you had elaborated very heavily on that. So I used to, talk about Ponzi schemes in the classes that I conducted further. So a few days back, a few students came to meet me, and they actually thanked me and said, with tears in their eyes, "Thank you, sir. जो आपने बताया था वो हमने हमारे माँ बाप को बताया था, and because of that, they stayed away from that particular scheme which went bust." I think there can't be a better aha moment than being able to sort of make a positive impact in somebody's life. And it was not about earning that extra return. It was saving whatever, safeguarding whatever one had accumulated throughout the life. So that really to me was a real aha moment. But the real aha moment within the class, very often comes when um, I walked into a class
Uh-huh.
with severe splitting headache
Okay.
or 102 degrees fever. And in no time, the headache or the fever has gone to
Uh,
never to come back.
wow.
I think
Okay.
I think that's really the aha moment, and it
Hmm.
tells me that something miraculous happens in the class in front of those students, that
Yeah.
all your pain and suffering goes away, and that really is
True.
the aha moment. I think, um, um, yeah, somehow
As you
it
get
might
into
be,
the groove, it
yeah,
just
yeah.
disappears, right? Yeah.
It
In
it
fact,
might be, yeah.
yeah.
Sorry,
In
I'm
fact,
thinking,
as a
yeah,
part of your training schedules, I'm sure, and it's very important, right? You train a lot of students, especially
yeah,
22-year-olds, and there's so much of focus and impetus, on training, and more importantly, financial literacy. In terms of a financial advice, if you could give one to a 20-plus-year-old in today's world, the reason where I'm coming from is there are a lot of students, and thanks to SEBI, there's so much of awareness, and through the MP, etc. In the recent budget, there's that additional percentage hike in the STT on options,
yeah.
futures and options, and people are losing money there, especially youngsters, right? The Insta generation gets influenced by influencers of influencers, as we call. What would be that one piece of advice, Amit, for a 20-plus-year-old starting their first stage job today? What it would be?
Santosh, it seems like a divine design that you asked this question right now. Yesterday, I'd gone
Uh-huh.
to a function where a book about the wisdom of Mr. Vallabh Bansali was launched, and I happened to be there. And
Uh-huh.
during that conversation, one particular Sanskrit shlok was mentioned, and it is relevant to the, or rather, it is the answer to your question that you just asked. What kind of an
Hmm.
advice would I give to a 20-year-old? Let me read
Yeah.
out the shlok and the meaning of it.
Uh,
शनैः पन्थः शनैः कन्थः शनैः पर्वतमस्तके शनैर्विद्या शनैर्वित्तं पंचेतानि शनैः 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 is a word used for slow, or it takes time. So
yeah.
something takes time. Now शनैः पन्थः, that means panth is the road that you travel, so you can complete your journey only slowly over a period of time. It just doesn't happen
Hmm.
immediately.
Hmm.
Shani Kantha is the blanket that you weave. Any such thing that you weave, that weaving also, cloth that you weave, that also happens slowly. It doesn't happen in a hurry.
Hmm.
Shani Parvata Mastake. Parvata Mastake is the top of the mountain. So if you want to climb a mountain, that also can't happen in a hurry. And then
Yeah.
it says Shanir Vidya. So knowledge also comes over a period of time, doesn't come overnight. And
Yeah.
Shanir Vittam, money also comes over a period of time. And it
Yeah.
says Panchetani Shanehi Shanehi. All these five things
Hmm.
happen slowly. Now
Yeah.
you can look at Pantha as a journey in any endeavor that you do.
Yeah.
Kantha is the blanket that you view. It could be any industrious activity that you take. Parvata Mastake is in any achievement that any height that you scale, not necessarily a mountain,
Correct.
but academically, in corporate world, wherever, or in sports or movies, wherever. But you scale those heights of excellence, it happens over a period of time. Vidya,
Yeah.
knowledge or wisdom also doesn't come in a hurry. And money or wealth, real wealth, doesn't come in a hurry.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
advice to this 20-year-old self of Amit Trivedi would be, wait, it will happen, and you will have to keep walking. You have to keep
Yeah.
working towards it. Have faith that you will get it, but have faith. Don't stop along the way.
Patience, space.
Patience pays, and that patience pays again. There is another beautiful this thing from the Sai Baba, Shirdi Sai Baba. He
Hmm.
used wherever you see his photograph, there are two words mentioned in the bottom:
Hmm.
Shraddha and Saburi.
Hmm.
Shraddha is the faith. You need to have faith, and once you
Yeah.
have faith, you have to wait. Saburi.
Yeah. Sabar karna.
Incident, yeah. Incidentally, that patience does not come without faith. So Shraddha is to come before Saburi. So have faith,
Absolutely.
and then you will be able to wait it out.
Yeah. In fact, my next question is very much related to the youngsters, the young generation that forms a part of my audiences as well. How do you
Sure.
personally define a rich life, if I quote unquote rich life, beyond the bank balance?
Actually, bank balance or the financial wealth is an
Yeah,
enabler to living a
yeah,
rich life. It's
yeah.
not financial balance or financial wealth is not a rich life.
Yeah.
My friend Gaurav Mashruwala has written a wonderful book called Yogic Wealth.
Hmm.
He's a financial planner, and he
Yeah, he's a
says,
very well-known financial planner, and
yeah,
those years he was so much known. Yeah,
yeah, and he quotes the scriptures that we have, and he says
yeah,
there are many types of wealth. Wealth number one is the physical wealth, the
mm,
well-being of the body. The
mm,
second is the social wealth, the
mm,
relationships that we have with others.
yeah,
Financial wealth, of course. And he says there is another wealth called spiritual wealth. Now,
mm,
I would define see, health is easily understandable. Financial wealth is understandable, but the social wealth is your relationship with others. But spiritual
yeah,
wealth is your relationship with yourself.
yeah,
And he said, if these four are not in harmony, you can't enjoy.
true.
So, true wealth, real wealth, invest in relationships. And
Mm,
again, to quote Sri Vallabh Bansali yesterday, he mentioned that invest in relationships and don't lose an opportunity to help anybody.
mm,
He actually said, don't lose an opportunity to help somebody.
mm.
He doesn't say that go out and help.
Yeah.
No, he says
If
it's an
if an
opportunity for.
opportunity comes your way, yeah, help. Yeah.
He actually said it's an opportunity. Go out. Right. So,
Mm,
social wealth, earn that social wealth, and in good times and bad times, that social wealth would come in handy.
mm,
Personally, I've experienced that a lot. A lot of people have come forward in my downtime, my bad time,
mm,
and
mm,
pulled me up. A lot of
mm.
times, who will come at what point in time? I just don't know.
Yeah.
Why would that person come? I just don't know. But
Mm,
I have been pulled up. I have been benefited. So
yeah.
that social wealth is equally important. Spiritual wealth is where you keep looking at yourself and
Mm,
realize that you are probably a micro percentage of a nanoparticle in the entire universe.
yeah. Yeah. Mm,
And in that case, we love to take faltu credit for a lot of things that we do.
yeah.
It pays to be grateful. Uh,
Yeah.
what I have achieved, I mean, I feel like my chest swells. Okay, it's okay to feel that way. That's perfectly
Mm,
fine. But at the same time, also feel grateful towards those who helped you
yeah.
achieve that. And
Yeah.
there are too many participles. There's this lovely book called, lovely story called "Who Packed Your Parachute."
Mm,
I mean, when a paraglider, when a fighter pilot has to eject and because the plane is hit,
yeah.
who's most important person in the life of that person? The guy who packed the parachute. The
Yes.
fighter pilot may not even know who packed the parachute,
Correct.
right?
He
Because if
can
the
decide
pack,
everything.
it can decide everything. The parachute is not packed properly. It is not opened properly.
Simple. Yeah.
So, I would say true wealth is the
Mm,
relationships around you. True wealth is your physical health. True health is your mental balance. And for all these things, you need financial wealth, and that
yeah.
is an enabler. No
Correct.
questions about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, it's an amazing episode that we are having. I rarely have an episode like this where Amit's all about life learning, life's
Yeah,
experiences, and that's why
yeah,
we're not talking technical here. It's all about life
right.
learning, life's
Yeah,
experiences, which are more than happy to share with us and to our listeners. Coming from a financial background and then a training background, and as an author. I want to end this episode with a super special rapid fire round, and would
sure.
just love to know you know, so I want to capture that, that essence, Amit, which is between a complex finance and, of course, a common man, and that's what rapid fire is all about. So the ultimate goal, in one word, what would be that ultimate end goal for you in terms of a financial plan?
Happiness.
Happiness. The biggest
Yeah.
teacher, because you've been your teacher yourself, what's taught you more about markets? Academia textbooks, or is it about the investor behavior during the crash?
Uh, Combination of both.
50-50. Okay. What's that one writing spark? What comes to your mind when you write? Whatever be that.
I feel good.
To share the knowledge.
It's yeah, no, writing.
Okay. You love writing.
I just feel good.
Yeah, that's good. The Bollywood influence, if you had to pick one movie character, who desperately needs a session with a financial planner, who would it be?
Oh, there are too many of them. Too many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the most famous and probably the most talked about character would be Mr. Raj Malhotra of the movie Bhagwan, played by Mr. Amitabh Bachchan himself.
Yeah. Where his family deserts him, and he's just not ready for it, right? That's the kind of yeah.
Or put it the other way, he could not prioritize his financial goals, and eventually ended up in a situation where he had used up all the savings towards helping his children and had nothing left when he retired.
Yeah. Which is possibly a true story in many, many lives even today.
Exactly. So, and that's where it'll probably be more relatable for more number of people. My sense is while he is presented as the hero of the movie, um, wouldn't go to that length of calling him the hero of the movie. I would just say he is the protagonist of the movie and a real life example that can help a lot of people learn.
Absolutely. What's the price of ignorance? What's the most expensive mistake an investor may make? Is it about greed? Is it about fear, or just simply procrastination?
Not taking help.
Trying
That's
to
the
decide
biggest
everything
mistake.
on their own, depending or relying on the influencer.
Yeah, so there are a few things here, Santosh. Let me just, though it is a rapid fire, I just want to spread that fire a little bit. But a lot of times we think that we know everything. A lot of times we think that the subject is so simple. A lot of times we take it lightly. A lot of times we think that if something is available for free, I don't need to pay for it. No, that's one side of the mistake. And that's where a lot of people go to influencer, a lot of people do it themselves. And in Price of Ignorance, some of the chapters that I've written are borrowing from KBC. I said, in case of matters of expertise, ask the expert is far better lifeline than phone a friend.
Yeah.
Another chapter's title is do it yourself can eventually mean do the damage yourself. So I've been very vocal about it now, but the other side of it is a lot of times we know that we have made a mistake, and that's why for the fear of getting scolded by the expert, we don't go to the expert. And this again was my experience. I've narrated in Price of Ignorance. And the title of that chapter is it is better to be scolded by the doctor in his clinic than in the ICU.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah.
Don't wait to land up in the ICU, because there also the doctor will come and throw the file on your face. You are a very non-compliant patient. And these were the words that he told me. He threw the file on my face. He said, I'm not going to treat you. Of course, he's a doctor and a great doctor, and he came back, and now I'm where I am. But he was that angry. I didn't have to wait then. I could have gone to his clinic, listened to him for 10 minutes, and he would have treated me. I would not have required to go into that ICU. So
that's important, I believe.
For the fear of getting scolded if we don't take help often, or for the fear of appearing to be a fool, we don't go to an expert. I don't want to show my vulnerability. No, go and show the vulnerability, because there is a disease. You want it to be treated. Go to the doctor, tell the doctor the truth. Then you'll be cured.
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm saying taking help is probably the biggest blessing. Not taking help is a crime.
Yeah. In terms of legacy, when someone finishes an Amit Trivedi book, do you want them to feel informed, challenged, or empowered?
Uh, I don't
Difficult
know.
question.
Yeah, I don't know. But if no, you mentioned in the introduction, I consider myself as a student in a class in the university of life, as I call it.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
In that case, I don't even know what I'm telling the world. I'm
Correct.
only sharing
Self
what.
or a self learner. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm only passing on what I think are important lessons.
yeah,
And to
yeah,
that extent, I'm only working as a postman,
yeah.
taking a letter
Correct.
from one place and giving it to somebody else. But what that letter and what that information does to somebody's life, I think
Yeah,
that's beyond my control. So I don't want to say I
completely.
want somebody to be empowered or whatever, challenged or
Yeah.
whatever. Whatever happens, that's a divine design. I'm just passing on
Happens for
something.
good. Yeah. And one last question before I let you go. The golden rule. If an investor has only just about 10 more minutes a month for their finances, what's that one thing they must check?
10 more months,
Minutes a
10 more
month.
minutes.
10 minutes in a month to check on their finances. What is that only thing they must check, or that one thing they must check?
Okay, I would say if the investor does not have a lot of time, 10 minutes a month actually is a lot more time than most investors devote towards their finances. But considering that there's limited time towards this, just ensure that one has kept the records properly
Yeah.
and share the details of those records as well as the experts with the
Hmm.
family members. So
Hmm.
if something happens to me, my family should know the full financial situation. I know that I know finances and they don't. So in that
Yeah.
case, I should tell them whom to go to, who
Correct.
can help them out in my absence. I think these two keep checking periodically that the house is in order
Yeah.
and there is a help available, a trusted help available. I think
Hmm.
that should be enough for most households. Having said
Okay.
that, now let's look at the next part is where finding that help. Now, there take a lot of time and keep challenging that expert. Ask
Hmm.
the expert the toughest of the questions, and the toughest of the questions are how does it change my life? Whatever you are
Hmm.
suggesting, how does it change my
Yeah.
life? Number two, what if whatever you are assuming goes wrong? Because
Yeah.
financial advice is lot based on assumptions. What if those
Yeah.
assumptions go wrong? What are the consequences?
Yeah.
What is the maximum possible downside
Hmm.
that can happen
Yeah.
out of the advice that you've given? And
Hmm.
what is the safety net in case of that negative happens?
Yeah.
Ask these kind of tough questions to the advisor. If the advisor talks about a lot of upside and does not talk about the downside, move on to somebody else. That person is
Yeah.
not the right advisor. A
Hmm.
good advisor will keep warning you, this is possible, but we have a
Yeah.
safeguard. It's like
Yeah.
the airline safety announcement.
Yeah.
It says that there could be a turbulence. In case of turbulence, go back to your seat and wear the seat belt.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
say there will be
Correct.
no turbulence.
Correct. Yeah. I
So
agree.
there is a problem, there is a risk, and there is a solution.
Absolutely. Agree. On that very, very positive note and caution or advice, Amit Trivedi, thank you so much for being on my podcast, The Sound of Money.
Thank you, Santosh. Pleasure.
And well, with that, we come to the end of this episode of The Sound of Money from me, Santosh Sirur, and my guest, Amit Trivedi, who is a wonderful teacher, a trainer, and most importantly, an author. From me and him, thank you for being on The Sound of Money. Take care and bye-bye.
Thank you.